Hi, my name's Adrian Bliss, and I guess a YouTuber and a filmmaker from London.
What got you into uploading videos on YouTube? I've watched your video in the future.
I used to make lots of stuff and not upload it anywhere, and that was the first thing that I thought it would be fun to see what other people thought of it. Because it was just a bit of fun, and it was something for me to learn how to use After Effects better, and it just felt like a fun way to do it. I made a short film just after I left school about a jam making competition, and then before that, just at school, it was kind of something that me and my friends did when we went around to each other's houses. We'd make something like a trailer for a film or an advert or whatever.
What was your decision around not going to film school, and do you feel that you need film school to create film?
I don't think you need film school to create films. There's definitely been times where I've thought I really should have gone to film school. I remember me and my friend were making a music video, and it was this simple thing like the crossing the line rule, and we had this complicated setup. We couldn't figure out how to do it, and we both just sat there and thought, oh, we should have gone to film school because then we'd know how to do this. But my decision kind of came about to defer film school because I was going to make a short film, and I had a few different ideas I wanted to try out. And then before I could really think about going, I got a job in London at a production company made specifically for online video. Ever since then, I guess I've just been deferring.
Do you think you'll ever go back?
I don't think so. I'm not saying I've learned all the stuff you learn at film school, because I definitely haven't, and there's stuff I've missed. But by making stuff and just having to do it on your own and having to figure it out, I've had like crushing low points and really high points. I feel like I learned a lot more from that than I would have if someone had told me in a lecture.
Would you explain how you met Greg?
The first time I met Greg, I was helping my friend Jack interview people for this studio he wanted to set up, and Greg came in to be interviewed as an editor. And yeah, he was really cool. That's where I first met him. Jack hired him, and then we ended up moving in together. So yeah, that's how it all started.
What is the meaning of Greg's character?
Well, to be honest, the way it started was just, that's Greg's seat in our house. He always sits in that corner of the sofa, and I just sat down and filmed this thing. He was in the first one, and I thought it'd be funny to have just someone there the whole time to look back at, and someone to, even though he doesn't say anything, to like bounce stuff off him. And then it slowly evolved that people really liked, because it was a real-time thing. I was putting the videos out every day. I noticed that people really liked Greg, and then he became an integral part of the story, and then in Vloon, even more so. And I guess the meaning of his character kind of became a bit more clear in that. And like it says at the end of the series, the journalist on TV, his meaning is that his silence is so much more appealing and interesting and admirable than all these other people talking, like Beth, for example. They're two polar opposites, and the one that is like you really like is Greg. That was a long rambling answer to that question.
No, it wasn't. I could be wrong, but watching it, I was wondering whether Greg was closer to your own personal character.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I don't say much normally, so yeah, it could be a little bit of that.
Who wrote the script with you?
So there wasn't a script. I planned out at the start of the day generally what would happen in the video, and I knew before we left the general arc, but we never actually wrote a script. There were sometimes notes on what we'd say, but because people like Beth and Lewis, who played the journalist, are so good at improvising, it was much more fun, and I felt like we got much better stuff when we just played around and improvised stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much all made up on the day. I'm not sure what it would have been like if I'd scripted it, but I think it's better that I did. I think.
Greg's character is a bit of an introvert. How would you display yourself online and get noticed as
if you wanted to? The strange thing is, I think most YouTubers and vloggers are introverts. The ones that started originally, I guess, because they were sat in their rooms filming themselves. And now suddenly lots of them are like introverts in a world where they're expected to be extroverts. I guess my advice would be that, for me anyway, it's much more interesting to not know about someone. And I really enjoyed people enjoying the mystery of Greg, not knowing what he sounds like, not knowing what he's thinking. For me, that was a lot more interesting, and I like those traits in people.
And do you think you can be authentic as well as being silent on the web?
Yeah, because I think Greg is pretty authentic, even to what Greg's like in real life.
What do you do when you lose motivation, and how do you get it back?
I want to know the answer to this as well, because I lose motivation a lot. I find that I'm either don't feel that motivated or I'm doing something and then there's no choice. When I was in the middle of Vloon, there was no choice but to keep doing it and carry on. So I found for me the best thing to do is drop myself in something and not really give myself a choice.
What attributes do you think it takes to achieve success in the field that you're passionate about?
I guess it's just all the usual things, like a talent in that field, being good at it, and having enough motivation to keep trying, but not misplaced motivation, kind of realizing the kind of things that you're good at and pursuing those. Another thing I'd say would be that you have to not be able to imagine yourself doing anything else, because then you have no option but to strive for success in that field. And even if it never happens, like, you won't know that it never happens, because you'll just do it until the day you die.
Do you know when parents say things like you need a backup plan, would you say forget the backup and just kind of go forward?
I wouldn't like to say this blanket bit of advice, but I mean, I don't have a backup plan. And it's going okay at the moment. I might need one in future. Even if you spend your whole life trying to do something, if you can't imagine yourself doing anything else, and you've explored other things, then you might as well. Because I don't think anyone, even the most successful people, in my opinion anyway, I don't think they think of themselves as successful and it's all done. I think for everyone, even if you find success, you always want to achieve more.
Is there anything in the industry that you know now that you'd wish you'd known maybe before you'd started out?
In these starting out stages, I guess the thing that I wish I'd known before was that I don't have to make stuff complicated, to try and keep everything as simple as possible, because all the things that I've done where I've tried to make it too complicated have failed. But the things where I kind of try and keep it simple, they've worked.